Adonai Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Halayla Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekal Kadash. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son, and our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, to the 144,000, double honor and respect to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Coming back at you with another lesson, a kingdom in decline. So there's a short video that I want to play. This video was fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107. Let's play the video. This man is Shahid King Boshan, and he may be an Israelite, but however, his belief system is on a false God or a false religion. Let's play the video.
Country. I'm telling you, most Americans, and by most Americans, I mean mostly so-called white Americans, they get all sorts of negative emotions when I talk about the dismantling of America, the decline of America, the collapse of the United States, and so forth. They get sad. They get hopeless. They get depressed, or they get defensive, or they get despondent. And I understand why. It has historically been their system. They got enough benefit from that system to make them actually believe more deeply in the myths around that system. The truth is, they didn't enjoy benefits in that society because of democracy and freedom. They enjoyed benefits in that society because of mass murder. They enjoyed benefits in that society because of pillage, because of slavery and piracy and exploitation, and because of war and brutality. But they always thought that Uncle Sam was on their side. They thought that they were the favorite nephew of their Uncle Sam. So when they see Uncle Sam, or when they hear me talk about Uncle Sam being amputated piece by piece, it grieves them. They identify with it, right? When the United States sends someone to the moon, they'll say, we landed on the moon. When the U.S. attacks another country, they'll say, we are at war. We are at war. When they talk about the American economy, they say, our economy. You see, they identify with the American project as their project. So when that project degrades, they identify that degradation with themselves. It's personal. They take it personally. There's a sense of loss. There's a sense of disappointment. There's a sense of panic. Now, I mentioned before that JFK quote. I've talked about it a few times. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. But when he said country, he didn't mean you. He didn't mean African Americans. He didn't mean Latino Americans. He didn't mean Arab Americans or Asian Americans or Muslim Americans or anybody else. Country here refers to one specific demographic. It means ask not what white people can do for you, ask what you can do for white people. Yes, that's what it meant. That's what it means. Like I said, they identify with the country and they identify the country with them. And that's the only reason why they identify with the country. That's the only reason why they actually identify with the country, because the country has always meant them. So the minute it does not mean them, they're booking their flights out. They're booking their flights out of there. I told you they don't believe in anything. Listen to me. They believe in a full belly. That's what they believe in. They believe in what a wolf believes in. If I'm not going to get my privileges, if I'm not going to get my comfort, if I'm not going to have my convenience catered to, then let me get out of here. Let me go elsewhere. Greener pastures. You understand? Scavengers. There's no patriotism. There's no nationalism. There's privilegism. There's get mineism. They'll drop that country. They'll drop that country the same way that their elites are dropping that country. I'm telling you, most Americans, and by most...
Well, I mean, really what it is it's spiritual. So they're not white, by the way. They're so-called white. Edomites, according to the Bible. There's many Israelites that look like so-called white people. So let's not get tripped up by this color deception, color schemes. So the Edomites are joined to Babylon spiritually because the Most High designed it that way. That's why they feel a part of America, because America is that spiritual Babylon. So they're connected to it. It's a part of their rebirth, their rulership. So it's not biblical to separate Edomites from Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon, because they would come back in their lot, in their kingdom. He mentioned how they're enjoying themselves, or they're basting in their privilege. Let's get Jeremiah, and how they feel like destiny is on their side. I want to get that first. Destiny is on their side because they benefited off of warfare, conquering, the sword, colonization. Let's get that first. Psalms 50. Psalms 50. Let's go to verse 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. So they're speaking out against Jacob, the Israelites. So this is that connected to, let's get it real quick, Revelation. The accuser of the brethren. Right there. Revelation. So remember, he mentioned they're in panic mode. Everything he's saying, remember, many are called, few are chosen. So the Lord is using him as a vessel, a tool. He's called, but not chosen. See, it's right here. That panic mode. Revelation 12 and 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So that's a spiritual decline first. Economic collapse, famine, civil wars, civil disobedience. The religious construct is falling. The belief in plantation Christianity. So imaginations are being casted down through this truth. Casting down imaginations. So now everything is being made clear because of the light of the glorious gospel is shining on them. So that they're going to fall by warfare, ultimately. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. See, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. So speaking to the Dukes of Edom, the ruling class. They're divided on multiple levels. You have the baby caps that are divided. The Zionists against those that are not ruling. Then you have the Edomites divided altogether, the left and the right. And they're against the baby caps. Then you have Democratic and Republican. You have the haves against the have-nots. So this place is being divided along several economic, religious, philosophical, and spiritual lines because the Israelites are waking up. So they're separating from this system. The Israelites were the bricks that held it together. So when the elect begins to wake up, the system starts to fall apart. Let's go back to that. Psalms 50, verse 21. Let's go back to 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So the bricks of the elect are being plucked away from this system, this construct. So it cannot stand without the elect being interwoven into it. Hence, one nation, undivided, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, was all propagandized speech, punchlines, to teach that we're all one. They understand the significance of the elect that cannot be destroyed, that are unmovable. So this is why they push integration, assimilation, being one nation. That propaganda. Let's go here to Psalms 125. See, right there, verse 1, a song of degrees. They that trust in the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. See, these are the stones of the Lord's building. They need the stones of the elect with the spirit or the spiritual essence of the Heavenly Father to build their kingdom, to ensure its longevity, survival. Witches study the Bible, believe it or not. They know. Matter of fact, one day I was sitting at one of my favorite coffee shops. There was a witch that sat by me. What she said blew me away. Not with a handgun or a firearm, but it was the words she said. So she sat down by me, and she had a friend with her, and she said, "You've carried the weight and pressure of a whole race of people on your shoulders all your life." And I'm looking at this woman like, how in the hell, you know? Because I've always, before making a decision to say or do something, how will this affect my race, my people? Have always thought that way, not just thinking as an individual, a selfish mind. But how is this going to affect my race? Before I came into the truth, now my nation. So she looked at me and said, "Yeah, you've carried the weight or pressure of your race on your shoulders all your life." And I just try to play it off like, what are you talking about, But then I got up and left. And she told me she was a witch, an Edomite woman, with her friend that sat by me. So these are left-hand spirits they recognize you from a spiritual level, a spiritual plane of existence. They know. There was another situation where this woman looked like an Edomite, black lipstick, black eyeliner. She had on silver jewelry that were charms and trinkets. She looked at me and said, "So what, you're supposed to be a king or something?" I looked at this woman. I said, "Miss, I don't know you, and you don't know me." So I came back later that afternoon because I like drinking coffee about 3 times a day. She said, and she looked like she was a bag lady or homeless, but a witch. So I came back that afternoon. She said, "Oh, you again. So I guess you're supposed to be some sort of a king or something." And I'm like, this woman is crazy as hell. But those are spirits, left hand demonic spirits, ancient spirits. But anyway, the left hand have limited understanding of how that the Lord has anointed ones on the earth. Let's read this again. Water break. Psalms 125, verse 1. They that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. So these are the lively stones of Zion, the government officials of the kingdom to come, that cannot be done away with. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, is round about his people from henceforth, even forever. See? So these words have meaning. So you have to push integration, socialization, one nation. You have to push this melting pot, the merging of the nations under one banner, one flag. Let's get this one. Let's see if I can spell this right. Okay. Let's try it this way. Psalm 62, verse 1. To the chief musician, to Jeduthun, a psalm of David. Truly my soul waiteth upon God. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. See? So the elect are essentially the building blocks of an everlasting kingdom, have an essence of the Lord's Spirit on them. So he's building his church, his temple, through a little sanctuary in the midst of the daughter of Babylon or America. See? Cannot be moved. So this, remember, America is also called what? That destroying mountain. See? So they're going to be rolled down. Let's get that. We'll come back to this. Jeremiah 51, verse 25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, which destroys all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. See? Nuclear destruction. Mountain means their government. The government of Edom. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. So why not secure stones that are unmovable, integrate them into your system to ensure a fail-proof construct or building? You see, to strengthen your specifications, your specs, so that you don't fall or fail with the Lord's people. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai. See? So we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So ultimately, it means the elect is coming out of her. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and read that. Because the elect made her untouchable, undefeated, strong, made her a superpower. Jeremiah 51, let's go to verse 5. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel, flee out of the midst of Babylon. See? So the elect are peeling away, taking away that hedge of protection over Babylon. Remember, when the Israelites were feeling American, this place was just pretty much dominating, where the Israelites felt integrated and prayed to their gods. So they became castaways under plantation Christianity and praying to white man Jesus. See? Becoming stones in this building or this destroying mountain. Jeremiah 51, verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense, destruction, payback. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So these nations are delusional, crazy, on a demonic vibration. Women's liberation. You have women's equal rights. You have Moism, moles, happy people that have a pride month. So all the foundations of the earth are out of course. A demonic, perverse spirit. So the vibration of this place is off. Let's go to, bellow as the bull. Where's that at? Right there. So she talked about them being happy in their privilege when things are going their way, just basing off of their Edomite supremacy. Right here, Jeremiah 50, verse 10. And Chaldea shall be a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So this is talking about the spiritual Chaldeans, the daughter of Babylon or America. These wise men, warlocks, enchanters, sorcerers. Jeremiah 50, verse 10. And Chaldea shall be a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord, because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. See? Burping and farting by being just fat off the hog, so to speak. Living high off the hog. Let's break it down based on the Hebrew. Just curious as to what it's going to say. Let's look up bellow as bulls. That's one of their false gods, by the way. Worshiping Baal, the bull, the horned god, one of the Masonic symbols, and one of the symbols of the occult. Look up the Baphomet, a horned god, a bull god. Let's look up bellow as bulls. There's no such thing as an accident. The calf or the horned god, even that bank symbol, Merrill Lynch, used the bull. Look this up. Bellow, let's look that up first. Sahal. To glean, wow, to be cheerful. So they rejoice at their victory, their conquest of the Lord's people. Remember, they removed that statue of Theodore Roosevelt. He was sitting on a proverbial high horse, the Natural Museum of Science in New York. They removed that statue. He was sitting on a high horse. On his right, Northern Kingdom, Gad, and of course the other tribes of the Northern Kingdom represented in that native tribal man on his right. And then on his left, Judah, the so-called Negroes, and the other pertinent southern tribes, Southern Kingdom. So they removed that statue where King Solomon saw in a vision, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants, that he spoke about in Ecclesiastes chapter 10. So, what was this? Let's go back. Bellow, Sahal, to make to shine. So the light of the wicked is going to be put out. The candle or the light of the wicked, the Illuminati, the so-called light bearers. To make to shine. Bellow, cry aloud, lift up. They've been lifted up in their pride, haughtiness, through their military victories, their success on the battlefield, their prowess with the sword, their technology. Rejoice. To neigh, make shining. Thinking of, we'll go to it. We'll get it. Let's look up bulls as bulls. Looks like Abayar. Let's go into that real quick. Strong, mighty, valiant, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed. That's that Obadiah. Valiant, stout-hearted, strong, valiant. See? So they're stout, speaking big things, speaking boldly, speaking proudly. And Nero 47, with the orange toupee, he is the epitome of that. Stout man, speaking big things, speaking great things. Valiant of men. So when we looked up Bellow, Sahal, shining, the light of the wicked. Let's see if it's in Job 18. See? Job 18, verse 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. See? So their military is going to be broken. Their sword is going to be taken out of their hand. As the beloved Elder Yashawamba always say, the remote control is getting ready to be slapped out of this man's hand. You see? Read it again and close out. Job 18, verse 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The Illuminati, the illuminated ones, the so-called light bearers, are going to be brought into peasant class, servants, slaves. Matter of fact, the Rothschild, before they changed their name, was Bauer, which means servant, peasant, servant, Bauer. So they're going back to that state. Hopefully, this lesson has been edifying. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala and the Bud Babal. We got next, Lord willing, Barakatham, Shalom, Shalom.
The car went over one